personally, I don't treat my students as students at all. So inside the classroom, I always tell my students that I don't know where you're coming from. That's why I'd like you to exchange to me or tell me where you're coming from so that we can communicate. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you had a great time. So to start with, I'd like to reintroduce myself. For Americans, they call me Mark, but for Australians, they call me Mark. So that's my nickname at the same time, my real name. But anyways, I'd like to talk to you about experiential learning. Again, when I came here, before I was an instructor for this campus, is that I remember when I was working in a BPO industry. Why am I there and why am I here? So in the first place, I'd like to share with you some personal experiences that we can actually share with our students. That's the first thing that we might be able to give them an idea that we're all human beings. In the first place, that we are here, we're in the campus, we'd like to learn some things. And then on a daily basis, we usually learn these things amongst ourselves, not needing other faculty members nor instructors to give us an idea what's going on, but usually gives us an idea personally what's going on to ourselves. So that's why experience is the most or the best lesson learner or teacher amongst us. So why do we have experience, or why do we experience things? Firstly, again, when we wake up each morning, we go to our daily routines, we already have the experience which is actually routinary. It would be different from amongst us because we have different lifestyles. We don't know where we're coming from. So inside the classroom, I always tell my students that I don't know where you're coming from. That's why I'd like you to exchange to me or tell me where you're coming from so that we can communicate. Again, the best thing that we have right there is personally, I don't treat my students as students at all. The language that I use inside my classroom is we're like barkada. We're friends. Why do I do that? In my personal experience as a professional, sometimes there are inhibitions for us to tell these things to somebody that is new. Not merely we have an idea of where they're coming from, but basically we have an inhibition. We are shy that we might be able to say to them wrong things. However, letting them know that I am their friend and confident, that means they're opening up. That means they give us an idea where they're coming from. At the same time, they give us what they really think and feel during the time. I also give them an expectation at the start of my class that, guys, and I address them like this, that I am your friend and I tell you, or I can tell you those things that I'd really like to tell you. Because in that experience, you will be able to learn what I've learned. Then, what is experiential learning? Again, I tell them that this is what's happening in our daily lives. You tell me where you're coming from so that we will be able to go together and we have an experience, or we will be able to change the world by telling them that this is who we are. We can't change those things, but we can move forward together. That's what I would like them to do. So for learning by doing their things, what they love, telling me their experience, their reflection and applications in real life is essential for every student. That's why I tell them the practical applications for these things. Not just by myself, but I listen to them by asking them what happened. And in the first place, one of the students that actually wanted in the audience right now would tell us that yes, that is true. Our teacher is OA, at the same time he'd like to have an attention. KSP, kulang sa pansin. Yes, I don't like to have that experience that nobody talks to me as a barkada. You don't like that friend that doesn't listen to you, right? Most of the time, and our students doesn't want to open up or would like to share to you what they have learned and have not learned. That's why I talk to them in a regular vernacular conversation. So there are different types of experiential learning that we have. In the laboratory, we tell them the practical applications for this. We give them the idea. You know what? Do you think what would happen? That's why you usually ask. You give them challenges at the same time, because most of the time when you give them the challenges, they would be able to tell you, yeah, you're right, maybe, or okay. But those are the things that they would discover. They would learn from themselves through their experience, which means they really have the experience. And then when at the end of the day, I ask them, so what have you learned so far? Maybe like this and like that. But at least you remember what you did today. That's an experience that nobody can take from you, right? So it gives me an idea that, okay, at the end of the day, my students learn from me. And then in the field work, when we usually go there, I would just say, you go out, explore. What do you think? What do you see? Like practical words that these students may think that this is just for me to learn. No, but this is a lifetime experience you will have. On a daily basis, take time, sit down, have an introspection, which means have yourself rest. Think about what's going to happen, what may happen and what may not happen because of your personal experience right now. Just by sitting down, observing. So that's the things that I would like them to experience. Again, that is their personal experience. You can't take it away from them. At least giving them the idea that where they're coming from, even from the hinterlands or maybe from the coastal areas in Panaon, they would know that they mean something. They are an individual and they would have an impact to somebody else's lives. But when we know that when we go to the field, we really have that experience. We have the goals, the objectives. We tell them what your expectations are and what's going to happen, right? We usually say that, all right, this is what you're going to do, but not to that point. We nurture them. We give them the idea that these are the expectations. However, for me, I sometimes go to the point that let them explore. Let them do what they do. And then let them realize that, it seems that I don't fit. Why am I here? Why are they doing like this? And then why in particular are things done this way? That's why it would be relevant for them. Like, why am I here? Why am I learning these things? I ask them logically and practically the things that they would like to learn when they are in the field. So the question is that there are some discussions that they may be encouraged when they talk about it in the field. When the students are there, let them talk their own language. However, of course, there are inhibitions. You can talk to them and then always set an expectation. At the end of the day, you're the one who's going to make this report. Then you have to learn these things. Maybe from that time on, they would learn that, oh, what happened to me? This is my future. And then I'd like to make more things or be productive on my own. So at least I give an impact to the students where they're coming from, what they started, and then realize that these things would really help them practically on a daily basis through personal experience. And then when you provide instructions, make it personal. There's nothing wrong with having a personal instruction to this type of students. There is a guide, but yet again, you have that objective. You are actually on that goal. You are in line, making the future being built on what they think and what needs to be done in the activity. So there are challenges that we encounter on a daily basis. We know, right? Like most of our students come dizzy or maybe troubled, or there are so many things going on. We don't know where they're coming from. But yet again, we know, and we already have a learning today, that we should understand where their students are coming from so that we can connect to them, right? So at least we have an idea from there, and then you establish these things that yes, we are barkada, but you have a limitation. We can do this and we can do that. And then we have those resources being limited. So we are able to think about this time around that these students are coming in, and then we will be able to communicate to them the challenges that we need to do today. And then for these challenges, you need to read in advance so that we will be able to reach our objective. At least for that experience alone, they will be able to learn on themselves, among themselves, the theoretical instructions that we like to have or have them understand. So at this, we would like you to understand what are some challenges that we encounter on a daily basis. Think about it. What do you do? What these students, where they're coming from, what could be their future? Most of the time, there are heartbreaking stories that you encounter, right? Some of them are actually just forced to be one graduate for a diploma, and some of them doesn't know what they really are doing inside the class. But through their experience, and as for myself, as a marine biologist, I really love them to enjoy the nature, especially here in Panaon, where we love the area and our future will be. I hope that I was able to give you an idea as well that experience is the best teacher for everyone. And then I hope that we have learned so many things that even I, and on a daily basis, experience. These students, as we know, we learn something, and even if we grow old, we learn through experience. I hope you learn at the same time. We all have a wonderful day today. Thank you.